Yes, my people. So, I just wanted to touch on the whole Enzo Fernandez fiasco. And listen, there's so much to unpack with this one, man. It's kind of hard to even know where to even begin. And I wanted to get my thoughts together and not speak from such an emotional standpoint, because obviously this is a very touchy subject. Things like racism obviously means a lot to me as a black man. And yeah, I've just got a few thoughts on it. Yeah, like I said, it's hard to even know where to even begin. But first of all I can say is that the song that these Argentina players were singing is deplorable. I mean, there's no two ways about it. It's racist. So I've seen a lot of comments online trying to somewhat justify the song or downplay what people are offended by stating the obvious. Yes, France do have a lot of black players of African descent. Obviously, most of their team is of black African descent. There's no denying that. But with something like this, context is really important, because it's not like the song is basically sticking up for African people and basically saying, oh, why are you playing for France when you should be playing for your home nation? Your home nation needs you. In that type of context. They're not pro-African football. These people are not pro-Africa. So those that are trying to defend, for some reason, in some way and somehow, are trying to defend the actions of the Argentinian players, this is their justification of doing so. They're making it seem like, oh, well, it's not racist because we're telling the truth. But no, it's not in that context. The context that I see it and the context that I believe it was used in is that they are basically making fun of the black players who are representing France by saying, well, you're not even French, you're African, even though all these men are born and raised in France. Now, obviously, in a different context, say like England were playing in Argentina and I happen to be a football player, or take me out of it. Look, let's just use the actual players in the team, like your Bukayo Saka's, like your Marcus Rashford's, your Gahey's. Now, if the Argentina players were singing, oh, Bukayo Saka, like they got players from Nigeria, the players whose families from Nigeria, Ghana, Ivory Coast, whatever, Jamaica. Well, they just name the African countries, innit? And that's another thing that's ignorant as well, because not all of the black players originate from Africa. But when you're dealing with ignorance, you will find people that believe all black people, all black people's families originate from Africa. Obviously, I know all black people originate from Africa in general, but they seem to think every black person is directly African, when that is not the case. It's like we're dealing with a country where black people were basically made to be extinct 100 years ago. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if you know I think everyone knows the stories about the ethnic cleansing that happened in Argentina like a century ago, with all the black people in South America. Oh, sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. The black people in Argentina, sorry. They had a dictator, I forgot his name. But basically he wanted the Argentinian nation to be pure of anything ethnic. So, long story short, he made sure that there was no black people left in that country, whether they fled the country, whether they died from disease or whatever. But either way, there was some ethnic cleansing going on. So basically, that's the reason why Argentina is the only place in South America where there's a high percentage of black people all throughout that continent, where there's absolutely no black players that's ever played for them. I mean, I've never even seen or met a black Argentinian. I'm sure there's one or two out there, but hey ho. So yeah, like going back to what I was saying before, it's yeah. So imagine this was England. They'll be singing songs saying Bukayo Saka, Ivan Toney, Guehi, all our black players, Trent, aren't really English. They're wherever their parents are from, and they'll never be seen as English, and they can't be English because they're black. And they'll say the same to me as well, despite me being born and raised here and living here all my life. I mean, how ignorant is that, to say the least? I mean, I can't even put into words how ignorant, stupid, racist these words are. And what makes even less sense on another level, other than Camavinga, I mean, Angola, they got this thing about Angola and Nigeria. Nigeria is not even a French colony, so there's no French players of Nigerian descent anyway. And as far as I know, Camavinga is the only player in that team who's of Angolan descent. So what the hell are you talking about, Argentina? And if you want to get deeper than that, a large percentage of Argentinians actually descend from Europe. And I don't know if anyone's noticed, a lot of their players' surnames are Italian surnames. Alexis McAllister's called Alexis McAllister. So what they're saying about these French players, about these Frenchmen being African and not French, well, I should be saying McAllister's, I don't know, Irish and not Argentinian. I could say Di Maria's Italian and not Argentinian. I could say Lionel Messi is Italian, not Argentinian. The list goes on. Gabriel Heinz, that's a German name. Come on. It's the whole, see when you're racist and see when you're ignorant and see when you're stupid, you come out, you end up coming out with the most ridiculous things, not even thinking or knowing what you're saying. And this is a perfect example of that. Because really and truly, what they're saying about the French guys, the French players, they should be looking, other people can say that to them. You know what I mean? Like, Argentina, they call Argentina actually regard themselves as European. What I heard, they identify more with being European than South American because they're known not to mix too much with South Americans because of, like, obviously their background. Like, they don't see themselves as the same because obviously, yeah, most of them are European background. And that's not anything, any defamation in what I'm saying. That's actual facts. And yeah, and I'm not trying to generalize a whole nation of people because there might be some people in Argentina who find that video absolutely deplorable, but from what I'm seeing or what I've seen online, like the racist messages that I've had to myself commenting on it, that I've seen under Wesley Fofana's post, and just on any post regarding this whatsoever, I see like a lot of Argentinians either justifying what they said and claiming it's not racist, when I don't see how anyone can look at that and think it's not racist. Or I've seen, and I'm not saying it's all Argentinians, but I've seen some disgusting racist messages to people. And when I click on their profile, they're all from Argentina. That's not me being, that's not a defamation of character or whatever the word is, defamatory or whatever you call, whatever the word is. That's a fact. It's what I've seen. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. It's a strange one. And anyone that's like, it's just a really, really dumb thing to do, man. I don't know why Enzo Fernandez will feel. And there's another flip side to it. Yes, if you're living in Argentina, you're not around a lot of black people, so things like racism is not gonna mean. It's not gonna be as, you're not gonna feel as strongly about it as other people. Like, the level of ignorance, this ain't me making no excuses. Everyone's got access to the right education. Everyone should know in 2024 that racism is wrong, regardless of where you are in the world. But if you live in Argentina, you live in a society where you're just around Argentinians, you're obviously not going to see racism as anything. You're not going to see racism the same as someone like me would see racism. Not making an excuse, but that's just the reality of the situation. But for those players now, it's like they play, every single player or most of the players in the Argentina team, they play all over the world. They play all over the world. I'm pretty sure all of those players have black teammates. They know what's acceptable. They know what you shouldn't be saying. They know what's racist and what's not. They know. Enzo Fernandez lives in London. Enzo Fernandez plays for a team where the majority of the team are black. And what makes it even worse, he plays with players who are black and French. So he's there singing that stupid song or posting it on live. I can't get my head around how he thought that would have been a good idea. What did he think? How did you think his players were going to react to that when you're directly insulting them and their family? Because essentially, the deep thing about that song is they're essentially making fun of Africans being colonized. We all know why there's black players in the French team. We all know why there's black players in the England team. We all know why there's black players in the Dutch team. We know this. We know the history. We know the background. We know everything that's gone into that. So to be singing a song, trying to kind of like, where they're trying to kind of put black people in their place, saying, oh, remember, you're not really French, you're African. Like, you shouldn't even be playing here. Like, and like I said, it's not in the context that people are trying to make out, like where they're saying, oh, we're just telling the truth. Because they're not looking out for black people when they say that. They're not looking out for the African nations when they're saying that. They're using that as a weapon to kind of taunt their opponents. And I just think it's just absolutely disgusting. Honestly, like, it's... And then you got Javier Mascherano. And I think in these situations, it's best just to shut the fuck up and not say anything else. Because he actually had the audacity to say Argentina is not a racist country and people are making a bigger deal of it than what it is. See, that's them type of comments there. And he should know better. Like, he's another one. He's played all over the world. He's had all types of experience. He's seen different cultures. And you're coming out and saying racism, like a song that's perceived as racism, is not a big deal. Like, bro, like, you're like 40 years old, mate. Like, your age, even if you're not a footballer, your age should give you enough wisdom to know that what he did was fucking wrong. And maybe you shouldn't be saying that, because it's not going to do your mate, Enzo Fernandez, any favours. Because all that's going to do is going to make people more irate with what he's done. And it's going to make people deep what he's done even more. So now, going to Enzo Fernandez now. It's like, what's going to happen with him? Because I feel like they have to throw the book at him. Because this ain't a situation where he's just going to say sorry, or his PR team's just going to say sorry, and it's all going to be, everyone's going to play happy families, and it's all going to get swept under the rug, and everyone's going to forget about, no. Like, because this ain't like a thing where he was caught singing the song and he accidentally said the N-word, just repeating the lyrics. This ain't that. He's singing a song that's derogatory towards black people, African people, even transgender people. He's singing a song where he knows the words line for line, and he was comfortable enough to sing it on the coach. Not only sing it on the coach with his teammates, but record it on Instagram Live. So he didn't even see a problem with what he was doing. So he's so comfortable doing that, it didn't even occur to him that, hang on a minute, maybe some of your black French teammates at your club level aren't going to like this. So that behaviour is so normal to him. This is what he does. This is obviously what he does when he's in his comfort zone in Argentina. If that's what he felt deemed acceptable to record, I don't want to hear what they're saying off camera. And this is why I don't think I think the Enzo Fernandez, I can't see a way back for him. I can't. Because if I'm one of the, not even just the black players at Chelsea, if I'm his teammate, but in particular, if I was like Wesley Fofana, for example, I'm looking at him differently. I'm not looking at him the same again, regardless of how the situation is resolved, and no matter what he says, he's not like, like he's one of them. You know what I mean? So Chelsea gonna have to make a big decision, because I doubt Wesley Fofana. I doubt it's just the black players that are going to be feeling that way. I think FIFA obviously going to throw the book at him. I think he's going to get at least a lengthy ban. And I think he needs to, man, because what he did was bang out of order. It was. And let's not forget, there was other players in that video as well, and they need to be held accountable as well, because the clubs that they're playing for, they've been really quiet. I think people are trying to like kind of hide under the radar a bit, so people don't start investigating who else is involved in that, because he wasn't the only one singing. The other players are just lucky that no one could really make out who's there, but I'm sure that will come out, mate. I'm sure that will come out. Yeah, terrible, man. Absolutely terrible behaviour. And, yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say about that. There's a lot to unpack here, so there's probably some points I wanted to say that I haven't even said. But I don't know, fuck Enzo, man. No, seriously, that's just a disgusting, horrible, ugly story from top to bottom. But yeah, man, that's my thoughts on it, man. Let me know what you think in the comments, and yeah, I'll catch you in a bit.